Eagles are one of the most fascinating animals in the world. Most of us in real life will never be able to get close to an eagle ever. From what I've noticed, it seems like the bald eagle is more available to Americans than like the golden eagle. The golden eagle, you can barely see it. I wonder where they live, seriously. My country has an eagle in our coat of arms, and I've never heard, not even one person has ever told me that I've seen an eagle in their life before. So I really don't know how our country even has eagles. So I've seen many videos of the bald eagle, in real life, around humans. I've seen it a lot on the internet, but I've never seen any video of the golden eagle. So I don't know, the golden eagle is so elusive, but I guess the bald eagle, since it's an American eagle, obviously, it's basically the symbol of America. I guess it has to come and hang out with you guys in America. Good for you. Let's get into it.
To me, growing up in Britain, the bird on your screen often felt like a mythical creature on par with dragons, fairies, and the other member of Wham! As with yellow school buses, I assumed that their numbers were embellished in American popular culture merely to satisfy a television trope. And to some degree, I was right, but since moving to the United States, I've learned that not only is America's national bird real, it is so fascinating that it warrants stock footage of a person being surprised. And 1 year after becoming a proud US citizen myself, I felt strongly that my channel should soar into the new year by taking a closer look at this very bird. I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to bald eagles. And if you want to see my channel take off in 2024 and haven't had a chance to subscribe, do that now. In the meantime, here's everything that you don't need to know about the bald eagle, but that I'm going to tell you anyway. It might be called the bald eagle, but with a thick bob of white hair, it's no Jeff Bezos. In fact, the name has nothing to do with bald in the sense of Jeff Bezos. Indeed, when it was given its name in the 1600s, the word
actually
bald
interesting.
meant
Why is it even called a bald eagle? It's not bald. Why is it called bald eagle? I'm actually thinking about it now. I've always heard that name like, okay, bald eagle, but I've never actually thought about it until today. Why do they call it bald eagle? Let's see.
Do with bald in the sense of Jeff Bezos. Indeed, when it was given its name in the 1600s, the word bald meant white-haired. And unlike Jeff Bezos, the bald eagle cannot be found in the Amazon. Instead, it is entirely endemic to North America, making it the only sea eagle who can say this. Not that bald eagles can speak, even their avian language sounds nothing like what our silly brains have come up with. More on that later. But how much of North America does the bald eagle actually occupy? Well, its range covers northern Mexico, most of Canada, and all 49 US states.
Except
Hang on,
Alaska,
the US
obviously.
has 50 states. Ah yes, I forgot to mention, bald eagles are nowhere to be found on the island state of Hawaii.
Oh, there's even bald eagles in Alaska. That is shocking. I actually thought it to be Alaska.
Where the state bird is the nene, which boasts the total opposite of a bald head in both senses of the word. On the other hand, the place with the most bald eagles is the other state that always gets left off maps, Alaska. In the last frontier state, there are no fewer than 30,000 of them, which is not surprising, given that Alaska has the longest coastline in the Union. Of course, young Lawrence wouldn't have understood this connection. Television gave me the impression that bald eagles just hung out near mountains and flags, but their existence relies on their proximity to bodies of water. This explains why Minnesota and Florida, two of the nation's flattest states, surprisingly boast the next highest amounts. You see, the former is known for its vast network of lakes and the latter for having the longest coastline in the lower 48. So it was fitting that on a body of water, I myself met bald eagles for the very first time.
Oh, really?
But when I say met, it's not like I had a choice. I'd signed up for a boat tour, and the tour guide was one of those aren't I hilarious types, but with infuriatingly precise local knowledge. 2 minutes into the journey, he uttered one of the two major tour guide tropes.
And on your right...
Oh yeah? What's on my right? You can't make me look.
On your right are some trees.
Wow, amazing.
And at the top of those trees, if you look closely, you might see a white head poking out.
Better not be Jeff Bezos. At that moment, as if somebody had planned the whole thing in advance, the white head started flying with haste toward the boat. I should point out that the rest of their body was attached. It moved closer and closer, and just when I thought its talons were coming for me personally, it changed course at the last second and kidnapped a trout.
Don't worry, folks. While on rare occasions bald eagles have been known to attack humans, they normally have bigger fish to fry.
Please, don't let tour guides fool you. These birds, magnificent though they are, have no idea what a stovetop is. But they do eat lots of fish. In fact, I'm not sure I've seen an animal so proficient at plucking such small things from such large bodies of water. Except for me, of course. Memos, mostly. Their ability to do this is aided by the fact that bald eagles can see 4 to 5 times farther than humans. This is probably why the building where I spent my honeymoon was named the Eagle's Nest, because you can see for miles and miles. It was also pretty spacious, just like an actual eagle's nest. Fun fact, no single North American bird builds a larger nest than the bald eagle. In fact, the average nest weighs in at around 1,000 pounds, about 4 Seamuses. And the fact that they're breaking records for residential space tells us 2 things. Number 1, their fondness for big houses is probably what makes them America's national bird. And number 2, they need all that space to...
That's very true. So, well, first of all, 1,000 pounds is worth 1,000 pounds. How? And by the way, it's really fitting that it's America's bird.
Accommodate a 6'6" wingspan, basically 1
6'6".
Seamus. And given the frankly absurd setup time, it's just as well that these partners for life return to the same nest each year. More so because they bring 2 to 3 juveniles into the world each time. I bet Christmas is fun. Of course, winter is when many of the northern eagles head south. However, 37 years ago, one bird didn't get the memo. In 1987, the nation of Ireland was the unlikely destination of a bald eagle that got lost, almost in the pond. The bird was spotted on the southwest coast of the country under apparent exhaustion, having flown 3,000 miles. But here's the good news. After being nursed back to health, it was returned to the US on Aer Lingus. It even got complimentary crackers. It's the not-so-good news. Shortly before its first ever plane ride, it tried to fly away in fear after the then Irish Prime Minister, Charles Haughey, ordered a round of applause for the bird. Dear, oh dear. In many ways, it's weird to think of a frail bald eagle, mostly because the bird is so synonymous with American freedom and strength. Indeed, when I think of it, I still wistfully picture myself on a Harley Davidson going down Route 66 while somebody plays Born to be Wild in the background. But then I hear it cry. Despite its ass-kicking reputation, the bald eagle sounds nothing like how it does in the movies. You're expecting the Balrog, but what you get is this.
Really?
I've not been so surprised by somebody's voice since I heard that of 26th US President Theodore Roosevelt, who, in case you're wondering, sounded like this.
The principles for which we stand are the principles of fair play.
Nonetheless, bald eagles might well raise a wing to Mr. Roosevelt. By popularizing American conservation efforts, it could be argued that in a roundabout way he helped prevent their extinction. Because the thing that surprised me the most is that by the 20th century, this became a genuine possibility. During the 1600s, it's estimated that there were perhaps 500,000 of these birds in what is today the United States. By the 1960s, there were only 1,000. Their decline was partly attributed to landowners shooting them because they, the landowners, subscribed to an unfounded belief that the eagles posed a risk to livestock.
Wow.
But another major factor emerged in the middle of the 20th century, DDT. And I'm not referring to the wrestling maneuver. DDT, or as you and I call it, dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane, was a pesticide to stop mosquitoes spreading malaria. And it was very successful at this. There's just one problem. DDT caused many problems. Did anybody edit this script? Chief among these was eggshell thinning. Most biologists believe that eggshell thinning impeded successful reproduction among several birds of prey, including ospreys and, yes, bald eagles. It seemed America's most famous bird was heading the way of the dodo, with 43 of the lower 48 states declaring it an endangered species. But then, as we marched toward a new millennium, everything changed.
Executive order.
In fact, the seeds for its recovery were planted as early as 1940, when the Bald Eagle Protection Act was signed into law. This made it illegal for Americans to possess, sell, or hunt the bald eagle. However, it would be the 1970s when the eagles got their big break, following the passage of the Endangered Species Act, but also the hit single Take It Easy. The Endangered Species Act helped to ensure habitat protection for many endangered animals in the United States. However, debate continues as to its effect on the bald bald eagle's recovery, because in 1972 another legal milestone was reached, the nationwide ban on DDT. Either way, since the turn of the 80s, the bald eagle's population has soared, to the extent that in 2007 it was completely removed from the endangered species list. As of 2024, the US is home to approximately 316,000 bald eagles exactly. Growing up in Britain, I vaguely understood the iconic bond between Americans and the bald eagle, but I didn't realise the extent to which the bird is embedded in American society and the Cracker Barrel gift shop. When the Founding Fathers declared it our national bird in 1782, they did so because of its uniqueness to North America and not because it looked like James Madison. But its comeback from near extinction reminds us of another American trait, that the United States will always do the right thing, but only after trying everything else. I'd like to finish this video by raising a massive water flask to the bald eagle, one of the world's greatest conservation success stories.
That was a very interesting video. I've always known the bald eagle as the American bird. I've seen so many videos of it, like very majestic, especially when it's hunting. And it's good that there's preservation. There's been a law put in there to preserve it. I mean, it's the American bird. It is literally the American bird. Nobody should be killing it. Nobody should be doing anything to it. Maybe pet it, I guess, if you can have it for a pet. But I'm not even sure that is even allowed. You guys can tell me that in the comments. Is that even allowed to be? Are you allowed to have it as a pet? I'm not even sure eagles would even like to be pets, to be honest. Like, they want to fly. They want to be free. And even if, I think there's a way you can have it as a pet, but still allow it to fly and come back. Maybe like it will build a nest in your house. Then when it wants to go out, it can go out. You get my point. I think that can work. That can work. Your house could be like the nest. Anyway, let me know what you guys say down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.